Let's add two buttons for each cart item on the cart view to increase and decrease product quantities. Let's begin by adding the method that is going to increase the quantity of a given cart item. So navigate to our methods object and add an increase quantity method. And this method is going to take the cart item as an argument. So this method is going to be as simple as decreasing the inStock property by 1. So cart item dot product dot inStock minus minus to decrease it by 1. And the only other thing we need to do is to increase the quantity by 1. So cart item dot quantity plus plus. And that's it. Now we can add a button for increasing the quantity. So let's go to the template and scroll down to the cart section. And here we have the quantity. Let's reformat this a bit. Add a space. And here I'm going to add a button with the classes btn and btn-success, which are bootstrap classes. As for the text, I'm just going to add a plus sign. And I'll add a click event handler here, which is just going to call this method that we just added. So increase quantity. And we're going to pass in the item, which is our alias within the v-for directive. And just one more thing. I don't want to be able to click this button if the product is no longer in stock. So I'll bind to the disable property using the vbind shortcut. And in here I'll add an expression which is going to evaluate to a boolean. So item.product.inStock equals 0. So if this is true, then the button is going to be disabled. Now I'll just open the browser, refresh the page, add a couple of items to the cart, go here, and we should be able to increase the quantities. And as we do so, we can see that the numbers increase correctly. Alright, so far so good. Now that increasing the quantity works, let's get to work on decreasing it. I want to implement so that if we decrease the quantity when the count is at 1, then the item will be removed from the cart. Therefore, I will need a method which removes a cart item, which I'll begin by implementing. So let's go back to our view instance and add a new method. I'll name it remove item from cart, and it's going to take an argument which is the cart item to remove. And first I'll begin by finding the index of the item within the cart. So this.cart.items, and I'll use the index of method here and pass in the cart item, which is the element that I want to look up the index for. And just in case, I'll just verify that the cart item was indeed found, which is the case if the index is not -1. If this is true, then I can remove it by calling this.cart.items. And on this array, I can use the splice method. And I'll pass in the index here and the number of items to remove. And this is going to be 1. So we're just going to remove this element from the start index and leave the rest alone. And this method can now be used when I implement the method that's responsible for decreasing the quantity of a cart item. So let's do that. Decrease quantity, also a function which takes the cart item as an argument. So the first thing I should do is that I should decrease the quantity by 1. So quantity minus minus, and I'll just put this item that we removed from the cart, just put it back in stock. So cart item dot product, and let's increase the inStock property, inStock plus plus, like so. And in the end here, let's check if the quantity is now 0. So if cart item dot quantity has gone from 1 to 0, then we want to remove the item from the cart. So I can simply invoke our method that we just added here. So this.remove item from cart and pass in the cart item. Now all we need to do is to add a button with a click event which uses this method. So back to the template, let's add another button here. The text is just going to be minus. And I'm also going to add some Bootstrap classes to this button and also a click event handler, which invokes the decrease quantity method, passing in the item as an argument. So that should be it. Let's go back to the browser and let's add a few products to the cart and go to see it. Let's see if we can still increase the quantities. And let's try to decrease, see if it works. Looks good. Now let's try to remove this product from the cart. And as we can see, it's successfully removed. Let's just make a small test here. Let's add an item that we haven't added before. Let's take this one, which currently has 5 in stock. When we add it, we'll see that the in stock decreases to 4. Let's go into the cart and let's just remove it. Go back to the product list and now notice that we have 5 in stock once again. So when the item was removed, we increased the in stock property for this product. So the only feature we need now is the ability to check out. So let's get started on that.